What's up, everyone? It's Nick from Team Nitro YGO here, and today I am showing you my Prank Kids deck profile for the new July 2021 format. I've had a chance to play this at a few locals with the new ban list. I've been having a ton of fun with it. It still is very powerful. I still think it's pretty close to a tier 1 deck. Maybe it's like tier 1.5 now, but this deck still feels very good to me. You know, just your recursive ability to grind through control decks is insane. Your combo matchup has always been good. So yeah, I like where the deck's positioned. So I'm gonna keep playing it. I'll probably test some other stuff as well, but for now, this is where I'm at. My last couple of locals haven't gone great, but every time I've played the deck, it still feels good. So, as always, a link to the deck list is in the description of this video if you just want the deck list, but if you want some in-depth card analysis and an explanation as to why I'm playing the things I'm playing, stick around. So, let's start with the main deck. The main deck feels pretty standard. So, 3 Fansies, 3 Dropsies, 3 Lampsies, and the only unorthodox thing is 3 Roxies. This will make more sense when we get to the spell cards, but for the most part, you're still playing 11 Prank Kids. The third Roxies is like this is like the only flex slot in the main deck, really. Like, I don't really need to explain why you play these in a Prank Kid deck, right? Like, yeah, no, okay, that's the same. And then my hand trap lineup is 3 Ash. I think this card's still super flexible. Like, you're able to interact with a ton of different decks at this point, or with this card at certain points. I know people aren't a fan of this card because it's like it's a 1-for-1 and it doesn't end the turn, but like this card is just so flexible. 3 Imperm. I think this is still the best hand trap in the format because not only is it not once per turn, it's a good 6 card, and it doesn't. They can't tactics you, so like you're able to avoid stuff like that. Because I've had a lot of games where like I'll hand trap them, they'll tactics me, look at my hand, shuffle back my Prank Kid, and then I just like lose. Whereas with this card, they don't have that option. Speed roll. This is the best one because it just ends turns, and this deck doesn't care about it. That's why I like playing this deck because you don't care about draw at all. And then 3 Ghost Spell. I continue to be impressed with this card. I know a lot of people don't like it, but the graveyard is just such an important resource in the format. Like being able, like this gets to interact with a ton of cards. You get to interact with Nadir Servant. You get to interact with Tri-Brigade Revolt. This hits every Drytron name. Like this card is just so versatile. And like you get to hit random stuff like Ice Dragon's Prison and Eldritch cards. You can even hit like Shaddoll fusions when they hit Grave. So like this card is just so versatile. That does it for the monsters, and I guess like the only trap in the deck. 3 place. You could play 2 place in a terraforming. I just like playing the 3rd place because it gives you an extra physical name for Fansies. Because you need to have different names in your deck. So if you run out of Prank Kids, you want to make sure you have an extra name because the terraforming is not an extra name. But that's like a very niche thing. If you wanted to play 2 in a terraforming, it accomplishes the same thing. 3 copies of Pandemonium. Obviously, the in-archetype fusion spell. This card is searchable, which is why like, I know some lists play 2 because it's searchable, but I always want to have access to this card. Pranks is the archetype Pot of Avarice, and it's also an extender. I do want to play 2 with this card. I think it's very good. Like, you want to draw it a lot, and you always find it off Dodo, but I just don't know when to cut to make room for it. And then, the reason I'm playing the extra monsters is because I'm playing 3 copies of Polymerization. I've gotten this from a couple of my teammates. Shout out to Austin, shout out to Sam, and shout out to the guy who top 4'd the LCS. Because originally I wasn't playing this card. I was main decking 3 copies of Mystic Mine, because that card's like an FTK against a ton of the format. But I also just had a ton of games where I was just like, I was drawing too many monsters and I wasn't able to convert them. Or like, my one monster would get Ash and then I can't play the game. This card functions as an extender, and it also functions as a playmaking card that doesn't lock you into anything. Because when you activate Pandemonium, you're locked into Prank Kids for the entirety of the turn. So you're not able to do access code lines. Whereas with this, I've had a ton of games where you just activate it, you summon 2 Prank Kids, you'll fuse away 2 Prank Kids, make a fusion, summon 2 from deck. The fusion can summon 2 from grave, and then you immediately have an access code OTK. So like, you're just able to have play lines like that. And this isn't once per turn, so you're able to like convert multiple polymerizations amongst multiple monsters. Like say your fusion gets destroyed, you can activate another one, make a fusion, continue to play. Or again, your first Prank Kid gets Ash, you activate Poly, fuse the Link and the Prank Kid in your hand. You summon the fusion out of the graveyard, or you summon the fusion, you get 1 from deck, you get to Link, you get to continue to play. This card just has a ton of versatility in this deck, and I've been liking it so far. Again, if you don't want to play this card, you totally don't have to. I just think it fits the way the deck is playing right now. And again, we are slowly approaching a control-based format where people are going to interact with your normal summon a lot more often. and they're just going to interact with your boss monsters. So having ways to continue playing after your starter is super important. But again, if you don't want to play this card, totally understandable. Best card in my main deck, 3 Forbidden Droplet. This card is cracked. Like, this means when you lose the die roll, you're able to play the game. This deck is, like, every single Prank Kid is a 1-card starter. You're playing 15 1-card starters in your 40-card deck. You're 94% to open a Prank Kid, so you don't care about the cost of Droplet of sending cards to grave. You have stuff like Place and Pranks that you can send to graveyard. This card is just so good in this deck. I understand if you can't afford it. You can easily play Effect Veiler, Forbidden Chalice. You could just play like Dark Ruler No More if you wanted a going second card. But this card is so powerful. I'm very happy that I bought 3 for this deck. And then for the power 1 of spell cards, Called by the Grave. You can hit hand traps. You can hit like, again, this card's just so versatile and it's broken. Like if you open this and they Ash your Prank Kid and you Call by the Grave the Ash, you should just win that game off of principle. Instant Fusion. 2 of the Prank Kids are level 5, so you have 2 instant fusion targets. And then Monster Reborn. I was playing 1-for-1 for a long time, but I just realized that, like, this card's just a lot more versatile than 1-for-1, because you can target like your Link monsters. Oh, I'm sorry about that. You just target your Link monsters, bring them back, and you don't have to worry about any of it. And you can do cheeky things like you target your opponent's Link monster in their grave, make access code target their Link to gain attack, and then use your Links for popping cards. This card's just so versatile. Yeah, it's a power 1-of, right? Like, most games you resolve Reborn, you're not losing that game. Card main deck, I'm very happy with where this is right now. I think I've just consolidated the deck in a way to where I have enough extenders to play through interaction while also holding up interaction of my own. And just like going second, you're able, like, the polys are super easy side outs because they're extenders. Draw your hand traps or other hand traps depending on what you're looking for. So I'm very happy with the way the main deck is configured right now. I don't think I'd change a card. Like I said, if you don't want to play the polys and the droplets, you don't have to. You could go back to playing a more floodgate route of playing like Dark Ruler No More and Mystic Mine cards. But I think at that point you're better off just playing the blood. My build is a go first build. Extra deck, we have 3 copies of Meow Mew. The third one comes up a ton. I recommend this is basically the Banlinks of the archetype. Like, you need a level 4 lower prank to summon it, and then you can banish it from your card for your fusions if they were. The third one comes up in the grind game. This card gets interacted with a ton, so I highly recommend playing the third. So this card is super weird. I kind of want the third one. At the same time, I don't. Like, this card can always just search Avarice, and then Avarice can put it back in the extra deck, so you always have it in circulation. But again, sometimes games just go super long, and you run out of dodos, and you weren't able to get your Avarice in circulation. So, this card is like kind of medium, because like because the thing is, its effects are once per turn. So like even if they interact with it, you can't really make another like impermanent. Then you can like make a second one, and then get cards back from grave. But then you're just down a dodo in your extra deck, which is like super. I don't know. I think you could cut one of the cards I'm about to show you for a third. I don't think you need to. Copies of Bow Wow. This was a lot better when I was playing the Mystic Mine build, because you'd always have one for the first turn combo to lock them under mine, second one for follow-up play. Um, I think if you were to play a third Dodo, I would cut a Bow Wow because it doesn't come up a ton. This card does come up in the context of like pushing for game. You can link this on your turn after your material with Butler. 1,000 damage. You get to summon 2 from deck, and then you get to make a. So, I definitely wouldn't play 0 Bow Wow. I just don't think I would want to play 2 Bow Wow. But I just don't. I don't have a third Dodo on me, and like I haven't really found a different card in the extra deck that I really want to play. So I've just been playing the second Bow Wow. But yeah, if you're playing Mystic Mine, in the list anywhere, you have to play 2 Bow Wow because you need one for going first, one for follow up. And Rip Roaring Roaster. This is the Harpy's Feather Duster of the archetype. It's just especially since you have Nano, like this is how you beat control. Is you just grind them through your banish to keep this on board and then blow up all their back row. Like that's how I beat Eldritch one time in a low. I resolved this I think 5 times and eventually. That does it for the Prank Kid links. Onto the non-Prank Kid links. The card that locks you into Prank Kids is You're free to play whatever you want. Phoenix to clean up back row, Unicorn to clean up random things, and Access Code. This card's crazy. Like, this engine's just so free because basically any prank kid on the draw can make Access Code. So you're just... Yeah, if you're ever in a board state where you have two prank kids, you can just make Access Code. Rocket Ride, Weather Washer, and Butler. This is all pretty standard. I don't think you need to Butler because, again, you can recycle your resources, and you very rarely hard make the second one. Usually what happens is you make the first one, it gets outed, you put it back with Avarice, and then you accumulate resources. Because, again, this deck is very good at just playing through a late game. Like, there are very few decks with this such a good a late game as this one that, like, you ever worry about needing multiples of your cards. Ones that you need some of the links, because the links can't recycle themselves. You need the links to recycle the fusions, and you need the fusion. So you just need multiples of links to get played. Last card in the extra deck is Toad, because Dropsies is a level 2 water. A lot of your combo lines when you make Butler end on 2 Dropsies, you can then make Toad, and now you have protection from the hero, protection from back row. Yeah, this card's crazy. So that does it for the extra deck. Onto the side deck. I am experimenting with a ton of stuff right now, so I don't know if this is correct, but it's what I am doing. Diggy Crow. This is like my graveyard hand trap hate, or my graveyard hate in hand trap form. I don't know if I want this or Meister. Like, if I was playing current format, I'd play Meister, because Meister's just more versatile. I think because of Engage, because of Striker, even against like Shaddoll and Salad and stuff, where like you need to interact with key graveyard cards, I want Crow. I think like as the format progresses, these could be Meister. I think for day 0, I want Crow, and they've been performing well. They've been doing their Phantasme. Card's mostly here for the Striker matchup because it gives you a free body on board that you can just push for game with, or like you can bait interactions with, and it also drawn too many prank kids, then you Phantasme put the extra kids back in your deck. If you've drawn out enough kids, you summon Phantasme, put your interactive cards back, look for prank kids. This card is just super, super versatile in the context of being able to mulligan your hand. So like, it's basically a magical mull with a 2400 attack point value, which doesn't seem that great on paper. And you realize that, like, again, this deck is 1-card starter cards. You just need to find a 1-card starter, and you win, and you basically get to play Yu-Gi-Oh. So yeah, this card's super good. Super. Backer removal, 3 Cosmic. I still think Eldritch is going to be a deck. All traps you want to banish, like Shaddoll. Also banish things like Meltdown and other field spells. Find out through Field Barrier. And I'm playing 2 Twin Twister. So like, I like Cosmic for spell decks, and I like these for trap decks. Because if Striker's going to be the prominent control deck, I want to interact with spell cards more than like these. Because like they're setting quick play spells are just so much better than traps. Like, and that's why the Cosmics are better, because they can interact with quick play spells after they get set. Or Cosmic in your hand till the end phase, and then they go for something, and then you Cosmic, and like you're just able to pressure things differently with Cosmic. But I still want extra back row hate cards, just because like you can blow them out, resolve your 1-card starter, and then win. So you don't have to play Twin. You can play like Red Reboot and another one of like cut the Feather Duster, play 3 6 pieces of back row hate in my side. Last card I'm siding, Triple Deck Emil. This is basically an FTK. Brigade doesn't care about it, and Drytron doesn't care about it, but like Dragons do, and a ton of Rogue decks do. Like Salad cares about this card a ton. Random like Orcust PK decks care about this card a ton. So I think it's still worth siding. Maybe we need a different card. Maybe we need to play something. Maybe these should be like Solemn Judgments or something a little bit more versatile to interact with our opponent's hate. I just like blowout cards right now. I just think that's where I want to be on day 0, is just blowout cards. But again, as the format progresses, I could see these being Solemn Judgments. I could see them being Dragon's Prison. I could see them being a ton. Where I am day 0. That is going to do it for my Prank Kids deck profile for the new format. Like I said earlier, I've been having a ton of fun with this deck. I still think it's better decks in the format, just because it didn't lose any cards on the ban list, and if the format slows down, this deck is very capable of grinding and playing action, especially since I've built my deck with the extra fusion spells and the extra monsters. So always able just... I've had very few hands with this build of the deck that just don't get to play you. So that's what I love about this deck. It's just like every time you see a hand, you know exactly what you're going for, and you know exactly what you need to do. Combo matchups, you make Butler. Against decks, you just need to outgrind their resources and solve your Pot of Avarice every turn, and then you just bury them in card advantage. So that's that's going to do it for this deck profile. Like I said at the start, the deck list is in the description if you just want the deck list. Also, my Facebook and my Twitter are down there. Go follow me, go friend me, I post some cool stuff. And that's going to do it. My name is Nick from Team Nitro YGO. Thank y'all so much for watching. I'll see y'all in the next video.